Hello, friend. Today we are doing a reaction to my Amazon side hustle brings in $409,000 a year at age 17. CNBC make it. All right. I love this series, so let's dive right in.
I love seeing customer reviews and just making the best possible product for them. I've actually met a good deal of other young entrepreneurs, but in my immediate friend circle, no one that I know does it. To them, I'm kind of just the guinea pig girl.
Okay, so here's the thing. She's 17, which I love. She always wanted to have her own business, which is amazing. But here's a very important thing that she mentioned, which a lot of people don't realize once they kind of get into this being self-employed, maybe a freelancer or whatnot, is that most of your friends will not understand what exactly you do for a living. For a lot of them, they will be like, why don't you get a real job, right? Now, they don't say it because they don't like you or they're like nasty people. 99% of the time is basically them projecting onto you their sort of fear or inability to do exactly the same thing that you're doing. Because let's be frank, starting a business or going into freelancing, right? And doing things that are unconventional, it is scary. It takes balls to do that, right? And so for a lot of people, they might want to do that, but they're so afraid they won't. And so you will find that your immediate sort of circle and network or whatever you want to call it, they most likely will not be supportive. But don't take it personally. It's mostly them, not you. So it is crucial to find sort of network of people that understand exactly what you do.
My name is Bella Lynn. I'm 17 years old, and my Amazon side hustle brought in $409,000 in 2023.
That's pretty good. That's like more than I think a physician makes in a year. And she's 17. Bravo.
Oh, hi.
Oh, she's in California. Okay. All right. So Bella launched the GuineaLoft on Amazon in November 2020 at age 16. Okay. Okay. So GuineaLoft sells products for small pets, including guinea pig cages, bedding, food feeders, and water bottles. Okay.
I always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Even from a young age in elementary school, I was always doing various kinds of startups. I had a small hand knitting business. I did the lemonade stand that all kids do, and I had a slime business in middle school. I was always trying out different ways to bring in little amounts of money.
Actually, that's kind of cool. Like, I have a friend who has two kids. One is like very academic, and then the other one is just like he's always thinking about like ways to make money, and he always has money, which is hilarious. Like, you're only 12 and you like have like $500. Like, how? Right? When I was growing up, my brother and I would always play the grocery store game, and then we had these apple trees just kind of like growing. They were, they're not like wild. They're like the apples were edible. And so what I remember once I've done is like I basically got up on the tree, got a lot of apples, and I tried to sell them. And the thing that I didn't realize is that the market didn't really need those because everybody in my area actually had apple trees. But there was one woman who was just like, she probably felt so bad about me or for me. And she was like, I'm just going to buy it for like whatever the amount. But I remember I felt so great. I was like, oh my God, I'm making my own money. And I'm like 9. All right, so find a new niche. Bella invested roughly $2,000 from birthday and New Year's gifts to launch GuineaLoft on Amazon. I love this. So I love this series in general because it shows you that it's very rare that you start a business from like zero. You still have to invest in some things. Sometimes, in her case, I'm assuming she probably invested in like some sort of a website, right, or whatever, maybe some design. And then in my case, when I was starting a freelance copywriting business, right, I had to invest into learning, and that was the investment that I made, right? But really, it's like you gotta invest period. product?
The idea for GuineaLoft definitely came from firsthand experience. So I would say I'm a veteran guinea pig owner. I've had them for 6, coming on 7 years.
Wow.
And when I had guinea pigs for the first
they're so
time,
cute.
I started off just as any other guinea pig owner would. I had the store-bought cages, and with these cages, issues start to arise. I think every guinea pig owner goes through.
Yeah, okay. So this is really cool. This is like you'll see, like if you watch Shark Tank or anything like that, you'll see quite often that somebody had a problem that they wanted to fix for themselves, and then out of that came the idea of fixing the same problem to everybody else.
I decided, hey, this doesn't work anymore. Let me build something by myself. So before I even started thinking about GuineaLoft, I was doing DIY versions of cages in my backyard. I was using materials like crates and bricks and other plastic trays and just trying to mesh together this DIY.
Gosh, I love this. I love the creativity of like a 17-year-old. I mean, like most people, most kids her age, just like on TikTok, either dancing on TikTok or, scrolling on TikTok. And she's like starting a business and figuring out things. That's amazing.
It wasn't a sustainable idea. And then from there, I felt that I had pretty much exhausted every other option. So I started to draw up in my notebook designs of what I wanted the ideal guinea pig cage to look like. And that's kind of how I arrived at version 1 of the GuineaLoft cage.
Oh, look at that. So Bella's dad, a computer programmer, connected her to a factory in Hangzhou, China, through a former client of his. See, that's the thing. Like, if you can utilize and leverage a network, in her case, it's dad, why not do that? Because remember, like, each of your friends will know at least 5 people who will know 5 people who will know 5 people. And that's how you're going to get clients. That's how you're going to get connections. And this is amazing. She'd stayed up late after school to research and virtually test cages with the factory. Okay. Good for her. Dedication. Took around 1 year to develop the first prototype. A whole
When
year.
I first launched GuineaLoft, the reception.
Here's another thing. Like, I love that they show this and making this series showing that, like, there is really no get rich quick scheme. Yes, there are some, I guess, side hustles that are faster, that will get you faster to your end goal. But in general, building and growing a business takes time. Like, if you want to make $500,000 a year, you got to put some time and effort and money, which she's been doing, right? It's like anyone who's promising you, like make millions basically yesterday, like run away. They're lying.
Reception was not at all what I expected. I wasn't sure if customers were going to take the plunge and try our cage because it was so new. So I didn't put any marketing into the first 100 units. I thought that our product was just going to get buried.
Interesting. All cages sold within 2 weeks. That's the perfect example is that, like sometimes you have a really good product that doesn't really need marketing and you can get away with that, but eventually you will have to start because the thing with the, business quite often is that you'll see people like, let's say you innovate something. And then, like, perfect example would be Uber, right? When Uber started out, like, it was a novelty, like a new thing. But then, like a year later, there's Lyft, right? Somebody copied that and made it slightly different. And then there's a bunch of other things, right? So, and now they have to, both and all of the company have to rely heavily on marketing to show how they stand out and so forth and so on.
When I saw that the first 100 units sold out on Amazon, I just knew at that time I had to go all into this.
Ooh, today Bella has a 6-person team at the factory. Well, I'm wondering, so if she's making 400, let's say $500,000 a year, I wonder if it's gross or if it's profit. Like, is it, net profit basically? They handle production, shipping, product testing, product photography, and videography. Okay. The business has expanded to include products for rabbits, hamster, and birds. Here's another thing. Is she started with one thing, which is guinea pigs. But then in order to start making more money, you have to expand and add more products, which in her case is that, rabbits, hamsters, and birds. Funny enough, there is this book. I don't remember the name of it, but it's like a business book. And the guy was talking about basically selling bird feeders to the people who like birds. So kind of sort of similar what she's doing here. I wonder if she read the book.
Some of GuineaLoft's most important expenses, we have employees on payroll.
Okay, so this is great. So we've got in 2023, the expenses. So out of those 470, or what is it? 409, right? like 80% mostly was the expenses. So like 306,000. So Amazon fees are a lot.
On payroll, we have to pay the
Then
supply chain
factory
workers, and
expenses.
then we
Okay,
have
she
to purchase raw
spends
materials.
advertising. So 36 on advertising. I wonder if she uses advertising on Amazon. Most likely.
And then we have to purchase raw materials. We also purchase things for manufacturing. There are shipping expenses. There are also fees from Amazon. Another thing is marketing. All of GuineaLoft's profits are currently being reinvested back into the company.
So okay, so if the expenses are like 306, she's making a year 409. So technically speaking, her net is about 100,000 a year, and she's reinvesting everything. Okay. Yeah, so net profit was 103. Okay. That's not bad for
I
a
decided not to pay
17-year-old.
myself a cut of GuineaLoft's earnings so far because I'm really lucky to be in a position where that's not something that I need to worry about. I'm lucky to have parents who, they make enough to provide for me. I was thinking if I can take these few $1,000s and work on more R&D, I think that that's more worth it than paying myself something that I don't really need.
Yeah, well, she's very lucky in a sense that, like, she's 17 and she still works. I mean, she still lives at her parents' house, whatnot. But in general, $100,000 a year is not bad, especially, she has a team, right? And if she's running potentially later on, she could add different venues of advertising, such as, Facebook. And then if she also adds, let's say, email marketing to her business, then she will have a consistent revenue through that. And then she could potentially add the subscription as well. So like there's many ways to really expand that and make it, a few mil a year business easily. All right. So far in 2024, GuineaLoft gross sales are nearly 500, so half a mil. So I'm wondering if when they created, so if it was, I think this video is like 4 months old or whatnot. So let's say 4 month old today, December, let's say like September, they probably were filming sometime during spring. If that's the case, if she made half a mil in the first, let's say 2 quarters of a year, that's pretty good.
I'm pretty anxious. Hitting 1 million is going to be huge. I feel that we're going to hit that before 2 years. Juggling being in high school and also doing GuineaLoft is definitely a lot of time because even when I was in school, I'm easily doing 20 to 25 hours a week working on this.
Well, so, okay, so she's doing 20 to 25 hours a week working on this, right? Which is, if you think about it, 25 hours a week, and she's making $100,000 a year. That's good. That's like, I mean, a lot of people work 70 hours a week to make six figures. So I think this is great. Whoever is watching this, you could take this idea. Okay, so they were filming it during summer. Oh, she also got a scholarship. That's good. Smart girl.
I definitely was thinking about possibly taking a gap year to work on GuineaLoft, but ultimately I decided not to do that and to enter and then graduate in the class of 2028. I think a big part of that was because I'm really excited for the pool of opportunities and resources that I'm going to get in college. And if I'm working on my business simultaneously, I can kind of bring that into the college space.
Well, I think this is very smart because when you think about it, not a lot, but like for example, I was working through college, right? And most of my classmates were working through college. But the type of work, I was a personal trainer, which technically speaking is like my own business and whatnot, right? But I was working way more than 20 hours a week. And then, a lot of people work as a waitress, right? And then they also, sometimes nursing and whatnot. But really, it's like you working for somebody, you making their business more profitable, and you're only getting a profit, right? Like just not profit, but like a salary, right? Versus here, she owns something, she making a profit, right? And she's growing this thing. So by the time she's out in 2028, which is like almost 3 years after, she's gonna be a full-on business owner. Like that's freaking amazing.
And see what ways it can help me grow or what mentors that I might meet there.
I'm sure you all love dogs and cats, but what about the small pets of the world? Are all pets really created equal? At just $65, the GuineaLoft is a refreshing solution.
That's cool. She won a $10,000 investment funds from pitching competition. That's amazing.
Your piggy.
I actually put that towards purchasing our first acrylic laser cutter. We had issues a few months ago where our products were consistently out of stock.
Here's another thing. I mean, she's finding various unorthodox ways to fundraise money for what she needs, right? Which is also really cool. No
And we weren't
debt.
really estimating the shipping cycles correctly. So that's definitely aided a lot in number one, our stock issues. And then another thing is that all of these new cages that I said got released recently, it's all thanks to the acrylic laser cutter that we were able to test multiple versions and then get that V1 out.
That's cool. Challenges. So I love that they talk about challenges too.
Some of the biggest challenges that I would say I faced in my time running GuineaLoft is, first of all, coordination with the team in China. There is a big barrier between us: time, distance, sometimes even language. All of our communication is in Chinese. My parents are immigrants, so I have good working proficiency in Chinese.
I see that's on one hand, like she's lucky to have parents who speak Chinese. I know a lot of people that start like even like drop shipping and whatnot, like don't have that. So there's a lot of miscommunication, which then also sort of delays and even like held you back in a lot of ways. That's awesome. It's so cool to see her parents actually helping her out.
I would say that that's the extent of his help. He's not really inside the operations of GuineaLoft. My mom actually isn't really involved at all. Another challenge I've run into is just the developing of products and creating new versions, new iterations. So for example, our hamster cage, we went through at least 5 iterations of it. And then when we listed it, to be completely honest with you, it got bad reviews. They're saying, oh no, they're escaping, or maybe it's too small for a few hamsters. And for us, maybe we don't have that same experience. You know, we're testing with about 4 or 5 hamsters in China, and maybe our hamsters don't escape. So definitely recognizing the differences in people's pets and just tweaking it to make the best possible product for the customer.
Yeah, I love that she's using this idea like in our customer first, which is again, with the drop shipping, a lot of people what they do is they get whatever, stuff on Alibaba or whatever. They don't care about the product, right? Their goal is to sell, sell, sell as many as possible and then just like exit. She really cares about her business because it's her business, right?
I think that with a lot of parents, when kids are younger and they express an interest in startups with something trivial, it's very easy to sort of shut that down as something, oh, maybe that's just kids, it's not going to be serious. With my dad, he always treated me as an adult. He never made fun of my passions. I'm really glad that he never brushed that off, because look at where we are now with the piggies. I 100% plan on running GuineaLoft while I'm in college, and hopefully, if it lasts the next 4 years, out of college as well. In the next 5 years, I'm looking at expanding into a fuller range of products. So for pretty much all small pets, and then we want compatible accessories for every pet. We're also looking at food for each pet, fun things for enrichment in their cage. And then of course, opening in-person stores is a really big dream of mine.
Yeah. So one thing that she's sort of doing, which again, I don't know if she has a website or whatnot, but she's using Amazon, right? Kind of side hustle, which takes huge amount of fees. And so if she were to create even like a Shopify store, and I don't know if she does it, but I mean, if she's watching it, good idea to do that. But basically, you will have another sort of revenue and income stream from like running Facebook ads. I don't know, maybe like, TikTok ads would be also a good idea. And then also the email marketing. And from there, you're going to have a consistent cash flow. Yes, you will have to pay money for Facebook ads or Instagram ads or TikTok ads, right? But at least your customers are yours. Like you here, like I don't know exactly with the Amazon. I don't believe you can actually have a customer list unless you have like some sort of ways to do that. But at least here, customers can come to you again. You also are able to create a subscription. So if you're gonna go with the food or whatever it is that you're going to create later on, you can create subscription based, right? And then have the recurring revenue, which you don't really have to worry about.
The ultimate goal that I have for GuineaLoft is just to be
Well, I think that was really great. Definitely for a 17-year-old, taking a hobby and turning it into a business, that's amazing. She's making, 6 figures already and she's reinvesting everything in, which I think is also extremely smart. And as I said, a couple of things here, taking it, maybe keeping it on Amazon, but also of Amazon as well, going into the Facebook, utilizing Facebook or maybe even YouTube or whatever, and then using the email marketing as well. So then you sort of own it. I don't know nothing about actually retail. I've heard that it's extremely hard to do that. But again, kudos to her. I think that's amazing for anyone who's watching. That might be one of the ways you can start your business. You could, I mean, she's working 20 hours a week. And, if you have a full time job, you could do that on the weekend as well. But, anyways, I hope that was helpful for you guys. I will see you in the next one.